everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today we're going to be talking about some games that I really struggled to finish. So I definitely drop games. There are games that I just go nope and shelve them, trade them in, whatever. But there are games that I still somehow manage to actually beat, finish, complete, but don't really enjoy. And I know that's kind of a weird one. So many people have the mentality of if you don't like it, then don't play it, which I 100% agree with. But for some reason, there's the odd game that I don't love, but still push through and somehow mentally have to complete. I don't know, it's like a toxic trait of mine. There are certain games that I have beat that I hate, and these games, while I hate, I really struggled to finish them. There are games that I hated that didn't maybe take too long, or I dropped, or whatever, but these ones in particular, I actually struggled. I feel like I felt pain playing them. So before we talk about my list, if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, click like, and then tell me, what games did you struggle to finish? And this can be for many reasons. I mean, maybe it was really hard, or maybe it was just painful. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. The first game I want to talk about is a game that a lot of people really like, but I hated it. I'm sorry. And that's Pokemon Legends Arceus. I really did not like this game. It was everything that I like about Pokemon removed. Like, everything I like about Pokemon was not included in this game. I like a big sense of adventure and going to different towns and meeting people and blah blah blah. This was not that. This was basically just an open world, and I know that a lot of people have wanted something like that. I don't like that. That to me is super boring. There's basically no story. It was just filling up a Pokedex to create the Pokedex. Kind of a cool concept, but I just found it extremely bare bones boring. And for whatever reason, I mentally had to finish this game. I thought, no, I'm gonna beat it. I can do it. I think maybe it's because it's a Pokemon game and I like those games a lot. And so it was kind of like, I can't drop a Pokemon game. Like, I mentally can't do that. So I have to beat this. I have to get through it. I have to say I beat it. Bad on me, whatever. But yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It's a really boring game to me. It's extremely boring. I didn't really like anything about it, and I didn't like the fact that because you were having to complete the Pokedex, you'd be like, oh, I have to catch, 8 of these Pokemon to get that entry. Like, to me, that's just boring. Like, I don't want to do that. And I have to say, I'm not a huge, Pokemon catching person. I don't play those games to catch them all. I play those games to get a good party and then have fun on my journey and, beating gym leaders and all that stuff. So this is not in that game. So if you're like me, you probably will hate this. But if you're getting sick of the same old Pokemon formula, maybe you will like this. I don't know. It's kind of up to you, but for me, it was a no-go, but somehow I got to the end, I did beat it, and I will say the final boss was really cool, and the battles in this game, like the boss battles, are very imaginative, very creative, like really cool, so props to that, kudos to that, but overall, the game did not do it for me, and it was quite a struggle to play it. Like, every time I turned it on, it was like I was just so mad. Continuing in the same theme here, let's go to another game that I really struggled to finish, and that is New Pokemon Snap. I was really excited for this because the original game on the N64, huge game as a kid. Very nostalgic. I think about some of the themes sometimes. Like, I really enjoyed that game. That's a really short game, and now I look at it and I'm like, holy smokes, I don't know how that, stimulated my brain for as long as it did, because it's really short. There's a few N64 games where I'm like, this game is like an hour. But anyway, it's a really short game, but New Pokemon Snap, obviously gorgeous. They took everything from the original game and kind of just, amped it up, made it into what you kind of expect it to be. But playing it now, I did not care for it. I mentally thought, I'm gonna beat this game. I want to see credits roll. Again, probably because it's Pokemon, I don't know, but it was really boring. Like, I could care less. I was playing it and I thought, I don't care about what I'm doing at all in this game. I don't want to take pictures of Pokemon. This is so boring. I don't know why. Like, because I enjoyed the original, but I did not enjoy this at all. Like, I was so bored, and I that's the biggest thing. I didn't care about what I was doing. And I think that's like the biggest thing here is that if you don't care about what you're doing, you're not motivated, you don't want to play it, you don't want to turn the game on. And that was just it. I mean, yeah, the game looks great. But that's kind of it for me. It just wasn't fun. This was not a fun game for me, and I got rid of it because I was just like, I cannot. I got rid of Arceus as well. So boring. Yeah, oh well. In sort of the same vein, let's go with a game, Digimon Survive. Now, I want to make a big disclaimer here that I knew full well going into this that this was like 80% a visual novel. I know a lot of people didn't like that game because they thought they were getting a tactical strategy RPG and then they ended up getting a visual novel with like SRPG elements. I know this is going to be a visual novel with, you know, SRPG elements, and I'm happy with that. I'm very excited. The problem is when I started playing it, it was a real letdown for me. Like, the game is boring and the story is not interesting. So maybe I need serious shock factor. I don't know. But like when I was playing it, I was like, you know, this isn't that scary. This isn't that spooky. I'm not that shocked by anything that's happening. Yeah, is it dark? Sure, it is, because you think about Digimon and you're like, oh, that's a kid's franchise, and then there are people that are dying in this, main characters that are dying in the game. And that's interesting, but to me, I didn't care about the characters, so when they died, I was like, I just didn't care, and that was a huge letdown for me, because I really wanted to like this. Now, I did enjoy the battles, they were kind of fun, I liked the SRPG elements, I wish there were more, personally, because I'm a person who can do a visual novel. Now, I'm not like the visual novel queen here, but I can do it. So I like usually other elements going on. I don't like 100% pure visual novels. Those are a little challenging for me. But this one, I thought if the story is beyond interesting and I'm into it, then I don't care. I love Digimon, and this was a really cool concept, and I was excited. I was excited when all the kids met their Digimon. It was kind of like nostalgic of the original series. I'm like, okay, yeah, we've got the Digimon formula going on here, but I just found it a little bit dry. Like, it just wasn't that interesting to me. So, I know some people did like it, but for me, it just fell flat, and the story is usually the most important thing to me in a game, and I know that's odd because you'd think it would be gameplay, but story is big for JRPGs or visual novels. Obviously, visual novels should have a good story, and I didn't like the story in this one. It didn't do it for me. So, unfortunately, this one kind of was a struggle to finish because I didn't care what was happening. I was just like, let's go! Let's get out of this world. It's just painful. It's just painful. The next game that I really struggled to finish was a major letdown for me, and I'm very upset about it because it's a solid game in many ways, and I like a lot of things about it. I like the world, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, the Golden Country. It's a mouthful, but it is a prequel to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was a game I thought was, like, amazing. I loved it, and I still do. It's one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. So I thought, well, I'm gonna love a prequel, and it's shorter, like, perfect. Short JRPG, a prequel to a game I love, and yeah, a lot of stuff is there that's great. The gameplay is great. The music is great. The characters are great. So there's a lot going on here. The world is great. Like, I have a lot of great things to say. But it does a thing at the end that's very unfortunate, and it was kind of like a lock. You become kind of like locked and you can't progress. And it was this community thing where basically at the end of the game, you had to do a bunch of side quests or else you couldn't progress the story. And now I'm all for, side quests being optional, being there. They're great to get experience points. They're great if you just love the world and want more of the game. Great, good for you. Play a side quest. But when side quests become like a main story, then it's no longer like now it is the main story. Like, it's annoying. And so I was really frustrated because it wasn't just like, oh, you have to do like 3 side quests. No, you had to do like a bunch. Like tons. I don't remember if it was like 50 or whatever, but it was like a lot. And I hadn't done any of them. So at the end of the game, it was like, oh my god, I have to do them all now. This is rude. It was rude. I felt like it was actually like the developers were like, haha, in your face. And it was like not respecting my time. and it was incredibly disrespectful. It was super rude, and I was like, I can't even believe that I'm having to do this stuff because they're dumb. Side quests are usually boring. They're like, I need 3 of these potions and 2 of these feathers, and you're like, what? Or it's like, I saw some monsters, can you please defeat them? And they're like, it's just dumb. Like, they're just useless, kind of, like, fetch quests. They're useless. And so that was what most of this was, and you had to do a whole bunch of them, and it was really, really annoying, and I just thought, I was so turned off by the end of the game that I just wanted to finish it, and then, like, shelve it and never look at it again, and I felt like it ruined the game for me, because a lot of it was pretty good. I don't think Torna is, like, amazing, because the story wasn't, like, blowing my mind, but I thought it was okay, and it had a lot going on, but then that just completely ruined it. So yeah, I struggled to finish it, because at the end of the game, I was literally, like, every time I booted up the game, I had to, like, do all these stupid side quests, and I thought, what is happening right now? This is so annoying. So yeah, I struggled to finish it because of that. And lastly, let's go with a visual novel here, Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. I had always wanted to try a Code Realize game. The concept sounds really interesting to me. Basically, you're this girl who no one can touch. And so, you know, falling in love with somebody is a little bit hard, and it sounds funny. It's an otome game, so yeah, you're trying to, like, romance a bunch of people. Some of the characters were, like, fictional characters, like, you know, like Victor Frankenstein and stuff. It was kind of like, I don't know, I think I might give this a shot. I like these smutty games. I think they're fun, you know, when there's, like, serious romance. They're just, like, a fun change of pace for me after playing, like, a platformer or a JRPG. They're kind of just, like, silly and hokey. I like the more hokey it is, the more I kind of like it. The more smutty and hokey it is, and, like, really silly, and it's like, I don't know. There's something about it that I just like, and I don't care admitting whatever, guilty pleasure. So this game did not have that, and you're thinking, well, Paige, no one can touch her, so how's there going to be that much smut? I don't know. I thought maybe they'd find a way around it, and they did not. And it's really annoying, and I did not care for it. Because I played another otome game, and it was kind of smutty, and it was kind of fun, and I liked it, and that game was Seven Scarlet, and I thought it was actually pretty good. It had, like, you know, some intrigue, it was kind of spooky, there was some, you know, good romance scenes and stuff. It was, like, fun. You're like, oh, spooky and sexy. This was, like, literally just annoying. I don't really like the setting, but I thought I'd get over it, because if there was smut, I would just get over it, and I did not. It was super boring. I didn't like it. I was really mad. I didn't also like the character. I don't like characters who they feel like a lot of pity for themselves, like, oh, I'm so weak, blah, blah. I don't care about you and your personal issues. You're very irritating to me. I don't know, I just did not like the main character at all. I didn't care for her, and I didn't like her condition getting in the way of my smutty needs, and so I'm just gonna be nasty and say, like, sorry, I just didn't like this game because it didn't fulfill the weird smutty otome game that I wanted. So yeah, there's a game that I struggled to finish, because every time I turned it on I was like, oh my god, just going through dialogue of annoyance. So yeah, so those are games that I really struggled to finish, in terms of not necessarily because they were hard, but just because I didn't like them, but somehow I wanted to see the credits roll. So I don't know if you guys are like me and you have that in you where you're like, I just have to beat this game. I want it off my backlog. I don't want to drop it. Because I think that's the problem, is, like, I wasn't struggling in terms of difficulty. So I was like, I don't want to drop it, because I mostly drop games when they're too hard. And this was like, I'm so bored that I gotta get rid of it. But I need to beat it. So bad, maybe a toxic trait on my part. So yeah, those are the games that I really struggled to finish, because painful, boring, bleh. Let me know what games you struggle to finish, and of course, I'll see you guys in my next video.